What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan, and the goose is loose, baby. I am here today to talk about an NFL trade that just went down. A player that has been previously connected to the Giants will not be coming to New York. Jaylen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins has been traded to the Denver Broncos. That's right, Denver is trying to get a ring while Bo Nix is on his rookie deal. So they have traded, I wrote down the compensation here. They gave up pick 30, that's a first rounder, pick 94, that's a third rounder, and pick 130, that's a fourth rounder. A first, a third, and a fourth for Jaylen Waddle and pick 111. It's a lot. It shows you that the wide receiver market is not cheap. And the Giants have been rumored to be looking for a wide receiver to pair with Malik Neighbors. And man, I feel like this trade kind of makes Carnell Tate look a lot more tempting at number 5 based on how much wide receivers are going for. If the Giants could have done a similar deal for pick 36, I think it is, or 37, I'd probably do it, but it's close value-wise. Jaylen Waddle, I'm going to go over him a little bit now. Jaylen Waddle, I was a huge fan of him as a prospect. He reminded me a lot of Odell Beckham, but a little less pure game-breaking talent. I compared him to Odell based on his route running, his soft hands, and his kind of more slight frame, but it hasn't really been a problem for him. So I really loved him in college, thought he was going to be a great wide receiver, and in the first 2 years he came out, he was. In his rookie year, he was targeted 140 times for 104 catches, 1,015 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The year after that, his targets went down every year for his first 4 years in the league. The second year was his breakout year, his biggest year as a pro. He had 117 targets for 75 catches, 1,356 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That's a Pro Bowl, borderline All-Pro kind of season. After that, 72 catches, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. After that, 58 catches, 740 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then last year, he had 64 catches for 900 yards and 6 touchdowns. So he started to get closer to that 1,000 yard mark again after a down year in 24. I still think he's worth what they gave up ultimately. I think I would also bet on his upside, that the last couple of years have been more about the state of the team, the state of Tua. All of those factors, I think, weigh more heavily than Jaylen Waddle's direct value. I think that Miami is clearly tanking next year. I don't know what quarterbacks are definitely coming out next year. I mean, Arch Manning, Dylan Raiola. There's a few others in there, but it seems pretty clear to me Miami is tanking. I couldn't name you one wide receiver on their roster at this point. You bring in Malik Willis, and then you get rid of Tyreek Hill. You get rid of Nick Westbrook-Akinu. I think that's his last name. You get rid of Jaylen Waddle. So what are you leaving for Malik Willis to succeed with? It feels like Malik Willis was an unnecessary signing based on how far you're going into the tank. I don't get why you wouldn't just throw Quinn Ewers out there this year, let him get beat up, show if he has anything, and then you're in position to draft next year. That's the only real kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Contradiction. Like, you're totally tanking, but then you bring in Malik Willis. I get that the coach and the GM are from Green Bay, but I can't square those two philosophies. I feel like you would have been better off just leaving in Quinn Ewers for this year as your quarterback. But in terms of the Denver Broncos, shout out to my boy Tim, who's a huge Broncos fan. This is awesome. I wanted Jaylen Waddle as recently as 2 years ago when it felt like his name first started getting tossed around in trade rumors. The Broncos have Courtland Sutton, who is a starting receiver, and their next receiver was Troy Franklin from Penn State. I don't think he's ready to be a number two. Bringing in Jaylen Waddle allows him to comfortably be your third receiver, maybe even fourth, depending on who they have at tight end. Who is their tight end? Troutman and Ingram? Maybe not. But yeah, I think Sutton and Waddle are a good duo. I think Sutton can do more of the downfield stuff, while Waddle can be that kind of safety blanket underneath in the absence of an elite tight end. I think if Bo Nix was healthy, you could argue they would have been in the Super Bowl instead of the Patriots, because the Patriots got dog walked because, of course, they did. They had the easiest road to the Super Bowl of all time. I think this is a move you make if you think you're one move away from the Super Bowl, and I think Denver, I think they're one of the only teams that hadn't signed an outside free agent, but this counts. This'll do. This is a great move for Denver. I think Denver's going to be they'll probably be in it to win the West again. I'm assuming they won the West this year. But they'll be in it again. Kansas City will bounce back with all of the additions they've made, but Denver with Sean Payton and Bo Nix, I really think that this is putting them in position to make another step forward and maybe be in the championship game and maybe be in the Super Bowl based on Bo Nix and the weapons you're putting around him. So ultimately, Miami, this sends them all the way back to the bottom of the division of the league. This is the most clear tank job I have ever seen, I think, in the NFL. And the only move that does anything to counter the idea that they're tanking is Malik Willis, but that almost feels like a promise that was made before they were here that they're honoring. But they can cut Malik Willis after next season. They didn't commit to him long term. The contract, I should say, it's a 3-year deal on the surface, but I'm pretty sure they can get out of it next year if it doesn't go the way they hope. So right now, the Miami offense is Malik Willis and Devin Achane and not much else. They're stocking up on draft picks, so maybe their plan is to attack the wide receiver position. They have pick 11 and now pick 30. That either one of those, if not both, could be a wide receiver. So it'll be interesting to see what Miami does. But for Denver, this is a move with a team that thinks they are solidifying a championship roster. So it benefits both teams. One gets closer to the top and one gets closer to the bottom. Ultimately, I think it's a pretty fair deal in terms of the value given up. Like I said, you're not really getting a top 2 wide receiver without giving up a first-round pick or an early second-round pick. So I think in terms of tying this back to the Giants, Carnell Tate might be more of an option now, seeing how valuable the wide receiver market is being deemed. If you want a real number 2 receiver, you might have to draft it. Now, with that being said, they're clearly setting this team up, the Giants, to be a power run, jam it down your throat kind of football team. So I don't know the value of a number 2 receiver in that kind of scheme. I feel like Darnell Mooney coming in to the number 2 with Isaiah Likely in the slot, and I'm kind of hoping for Jeremiah Love. And I know that's like sacrilegious the way football fans talk about the running back position, but I think that running back would probably be more valuable than a number 2 receiver. But give me your input. If I'm off on how the Giants are going to value the number 2 receiver position, let me know your thoughts. I just think that with Harbaugh and Nagy, I think it's more likely they'll be utilizing 2 tight end sets, multiple backs on the field, more power formations than like spread it and go. So I wouldn't be upset with Carnell Tate because, I mean, Neighbors had an injury, so you'll need another wide receiver if Malik has any setbacks. But based on this, I think it adds to the likelihood the Giants end up going with Carnell Tate. So, let me know down below, guys, if you're a Broncos fan, my boy Tim, my boy Coda, any other Broncos fans I know. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I think this is a great deal. I think they were bad luck away from being in the Super Bowl this year, and this kind of trade makes it feel like they're going to be that much closer to the big game now. And if you're a Dolphins fan, holy hell, I'm sorry. This is one of the most clear tank jobs I have ever seen. I don't know how you could look forward to seeing your team play. And I get that feeling because, hell, look, I just put my Giants thing back up. I was so embarrassed by my football team, I didn't even have this thing up anymore. So I get it. Let me know what you feel. Are you excited that you're tanking and you're hopefully going to have a brighter future on the other side of it? Let me know. So, drop your comments down below, NFL fans. Let me know what else you want to see me talk about. The Goose is out.